Hi class, my name is Derek Chandler, and today I'm going to teach you how to make fried green tomatoes. But just not any green tomatoes, these are awesome fried green tomatoes. This recipe's been in my grandma's family for years, since she was a little kid. But we have taken our own twist, and I've added some twist in there. That way you can have a kind of idea for yourself. You don't have to be Chef Ramsay to make fried green tomatoes. I personally am no Chef Ramsay. But I cook because it brings my family together. It allows any of us to express it in their own way. And it's especially nice to come home to a home-cooked meal during a hard day's work. And it not only does that, it also bonds everybody. It definitely makes it your tradition. I know in my family we all love to cook. It definitely brings our family a little bit closer. It brings joy to all of us when we sit down and have a cooking. And it allows the little kids. My daughter loves to get her hands dirty and wet. And what that does for us, it allows bonding. Bonding is the essential part, of any family. It allows anybody to express themselves, what's going on in the world. And this is just all because of cooking a simple meal that can be done. And it allows this meal to not only bond, but, make it healthy for you. Now let's get into frying these fried green tomatoes. So the ingredients you're going to need is 4 to 6 medium-sized, fully formed green or red tomatoes, 2 large eggs, half cup of milk. I use 2% milk. You can use any milk you need. Just whatever's, healthier for you, whatever you fit in your diet as far as that. Another ingredient you're going to need is 1 box of Jiffy cornbread mix. This has some of that extra, salt, baking powder included. 2 cups of white flour for dusting. I'll get to that, later in the slide. And Parmesan cheese. I know you're thinking Parmesan cheese, but this will come together. Then you're going to need a quarter tablespoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper, and most importantly, cooking oil. Now you can use vegetable or peanut or whatever oil. Again, that's what's in your cooking diet or whatever your diet may need to be. So here's some substitution I personally like. You don't have to use Jiffy cornbread mix. You can use Italian seasoning, panko breadcrumbs, or Creole seasoning, and Drake's batter. That's what I personally like to use. It definitely makes it a little bit more crunchier, kind of like Long John Silver's. There's other variations as well. What makes the dish so good is that not only is it could be a fried green tomato, as you can see, you can add shrimp. It could be a main dish or a side dish. And the best part is you can add your own spices with those fried green tomatoes. And what the best part is as well is you can get fresh garden tomatoes. Now my grandma, she used her tomatoes out of her own garden to fry these green tomatoes. You can go to the store, but what this does for you is A, it's being grown in your garden, and 2, they say we know it's in the store, but always growing your own food is good. So let's get cutting up these tomatoes. So you're going to slice washed tomatoes about 1/4 inch thick. Discard the end pieces. You're going to sprinkle tomato slices with salt, and here's where that Creole seasoning comes in. Again, this southern kick, whatever your kick is need. So after you get done cutting those tomatoes up, you're going to want to place them in a colander. Now this allows the water, the moisture to dry off, because you need that for the ingredients to stick to it. If it's wet, it's not going to stick very good. But if you don't have a colander, you can use what's called a paper towel method. Now what this does is, if you don't have 15 to 20 minutes to let everything set and dry, you can just dab these, and then this will do a little bit more quicker. I personally use this method, but my grandma uses the colander. My wife is very impatient, so she likes to use this method as well. But with that, so you're going to make your batter. So you're going to beat the eggs till the yolk is gone, so how it's nice, fluffy, and yellow. Mix the beaten eggs with the milk for the wash. Now you're going to dip your fried green tomatoes in that. And then you're going to set up the 3 bowls like I have. That way you can have everything organized and everything's not in one big clump sum, because you will have to separate each. So you're going to coat each individual slices in the flour. Then you're going to submerge those slices in the flour in the egg and milk wash. And then you're going to dredge the season in the cornmeal mixture. Now that's that Jiffy bread mixture. And the only thing is it does have salt, so be careful. And again, here's a big note. My daughter, she's notorious for this. You definitely leave one hand for dry and one hand for the wet mixture. Otherwise, it's going to get messy. Then you're going to place those coated tomatoes on the plate for about 4 to 5 minutes so that coating can adhere. Then once that coating adheres, meanwhile, in the meantime, you're going to fill a deep pot with 2 inches of clean cooking oil. And you're going to heat that to 355, 365. You can use a candy thermometer or a fry thermometer just to ensure that correct cooking temp of oil is there. And then what you want to do is carefully drop the breaded slice into the pot because it is very hot. And you're going to cook, you want to put these in a small batter just because it's evenly cooks through. Then you're going to use a slotted spoon or any kind of fryer spoon that mixes so you can flip the tomatoes so that they're evenly cooked on either side. Now after they're done cooking, you want to get those tomatoes out, sprinkle that Parmesan cheese, that's where it comes in, and you're going to remove and put them on a plate and drizzle topping. Now you can put any kind of topping, mayonnaise, ranch dressing, any kind of topping you like. I personally like tomato dip. You want to mix ranch dressing with sour cream and hot pepper sauce in a bowl and serve the fried tomatoes topped with the sauce. Now that is going to be delicious. Here's my fried green tomatoes, and I hope you make your own tradition out of them as well.